Now we have some kind of a creature that I have not seen before. It's bleeding. It bleeds. If it bleeds, you can probably eat it. Oh, yeah. He had a condom. Look at that. Wow. Safe dude. There's this woman, or is she a doll? I can't tell. She's missing an arm. She kind of looks like my Barbies after I was done with them and tossed them in the backyard. Hi, I'm Kinga Philipps. I have a background in journalism, anthropology, and I'm a survival expert in the sense that I probably won't die first unless you kill me because I make bad jokes. And today I am going to be reviewing Ark Survival Evolved, and I've heard some really cool things about this game, so I'm excited to get to it. Oh, we start out by punching a cactus. Now, from my experience, that's not a good way to go. A little painful, not just the big needles, but you also have these little tiny ones called glow kids that get into your skin. It's happened to me before. To get that out, actually, a great thing is duct tape, if you have that with you. If not, you're just gonna be hurting for a little while. Okay, so we have very buff man. You could do laundry on his abs, which incidentally in survival, it is not always that guy that survives. I actually obsess over survival stories, and there are so many out there where the big, tough, ripped dude, you can do laundry on his washboard abs. He drops dead in about a day, and the 80-year-old grandma survives. So much of survival is up here. It's always a good reminder. There he is in his skivvies. Okay. Lots of cacti around. So we have kind of a desert landscape here. So obviously the first concern would be exposure to heat. You're probably gonna wanna get out of the sun because realistically that is going to suck the energy out of you. It's gonna suck the water out of you. Water is gonna be another concern. So especially in an environment like this, you're gonna be looking at greenery, gravity, and ground. So where you see a lot of greenery, chances are there's water underneath. Gravity, meaning that water is gonna run from upper levels to lower levels. So if there's some sort of a ravine, you have a much better chance of finding water there. And then kind of a last resort is ground. You're gonna be digging for that water. So regardless of where you find that water, you're gonna wanna purify it. Oh, good, okay, so he has a hatchet. He's obviously made there. This is good. It looks like he's got some kind of a rock. It could be flint, it could be quartz. You can whittle that down on another rock. You could break it apart, make it sharp, and then he's bound it to a stick, kind of done a little cross section, split it open, put the rock in there, and then bound it really, really tightly, and you have a tool. You have a defensive, an offensive, a chopping tool. It's really good. It's quite smart. He came out of the gate with that. So in survival, pretty much the first things you want to look at is you want to assess your situation, see where you are. The last thing you want to do is go running blindly and in a panic, because panic is going to kill you faster than anything. Pond scum. Let's talk about that. So stagnant water like that is not going to do you any favors. The best way to filter water is obviously if you have a filtration device, but usually in a situation like this, you won't. So you're going to want to purify it, which would mean that you need to start a fire and you're going to have to boil that water. Pond scum is a bad sign because stagnant water has all kinds of funkies in it that are not going to do your digestive tract any favors. So he is cutting down some wood. Oh, whoa, he just felled a tree. All right, well, maybe he wants to make a lean-to. Maybe he wants to make a shelter. Maybe, probably don't need a debris hut in this environment, although at night the desert gets really cold. People are like, oh, the desert's so hot all the time. It's actually not. At night, it's probably gonna get really cold. A campfire, this is good. He's got a standard campfire there. That's a must. If you don't have matches and a lighter, which you should, but you know, sometimes you just get outside and you don't have one of those. There are actually easier ways. If you have glasses, you can use that as magnification. You can also use ice if you are in a frozen environment because that also magnifies and concentrates it. Now, here's a trick for you dudes. You can actually use a condom. Pull it out, fill it with water. If you have water, obviously, you can also do this with a balloon, and that's gonna act as a magnifier, and you can start a piece of paper or tinder with that. So, gentlemen, keep those condoms on you. They are safety in more ways than one. Now we have some kind of a creature that I have not seen before. Now it looks like an armadillo, but it's got a club tail, kind of looks prehistoric, so maybe we've gone back in time here. Maybe we're on another planet. It's bleeding, it bleeds. If it bleeds, you can probably eat it. Although it looks like it just killed you. Ooh, fresh water. This is good. Oh, water is great. You've got plants. You can use these plants for so many things. For fiber, you can use them for sun protection. You probably don't need to punch them with your hand. Preserve yourself. Know a little bit of first aid. No compound fractures, please. All right, he is bashing that rock. It's either aggression issues or he is trying to make himself some more tools. That actually does look like fresh water, so that's a good thing. And there's a campfire, so if he can get that started, he can get some of that fresh water, and if he has something to boil it in, he can boil it and clean it up. So you want to boil that for a couple minutes, 3-5 minutes, and you should be able to purify it from parasites and bacteria. He's looking at his inventory. What's that, a cinnamon stick? I don't know. Fire is so important in the wilderness, by the way. No matter what the temperature is outside, a fire is always a good thing. 1, it's going to keep your body warm. 2, if you have wet clothing on, it's going to dry your clothing. 3, you're going to cook your food. You're going to purify your water. That's number 4. You're going to be able to signal with it. And there's also, again, going back to the mental element of survival, there's something about a fire that's just going to make you feel a lot safer. It's going to keep predators away. There's a coziness to a fire. We've got tools. We've got all kinds of berries and food. Berries and food are a good thing to address. Now, in survival situations, especially here where you have a lot of plants, that's a great thing. Plants are not something that you want to just shove in your pie hole if you don't know what they are, because there are a lot that are poisonous. But you might be, is that a dodo? All right, well, dodos have been extinct for a couple hundred years, but apparently not here. He just beat the living crap out of it. You're gonna have some good meat there. Those were big birds. They were yay big, like a couple feet tall actually. If you take one of those guys out, you're gonna be eating pretty. On a deserted island, if maybe that's what this is, or some kind of a desert landscape, food obviously isn't gonna preserve very long. Oh, dude, he's dead. You wanna preserve that meat, or you wanna like make mashed potatoes out of him? And there's a woman? This guy is so stoked right now. Found myself a lady friend. It's like, I gotta get the fire going. I gotta set the mood before she wakes up. It's always good to have companionship out there. Probably survive a lot longer just from the mental space alone. Just kind of left her there though. He's like, oh God, not my type. She's blonde. Ugh, look for somebody else. Maybe there's a brunette or redhead around. All right, so he still hasn't lit the fire. It's just kind of sitting there. Again, buddy, you got that condom. You can light the fire. Just saying. Oh, yeah, he had a condom. Look at that. Wow, he's a safe dude. Cattails, that is actually a great thing to have. That is kind of like the smorgasbord of survival. You can use a lot of that and eat it. I see some palm trees there, probably coconuts. That is gonna give you fluid and food. There's this woman, or is she a doll? I can't tell. She's missing an arm. She kind of looks like my Barbies after I was done with them and tossed them in the backyard. Chop down that tree. You can build yourself a little shelter. If it's really hot, you wanna be in the shade. Also, if you have your fire, you can use some of that greenery to create smoke signals. In most survival situations, the reality is that someone knows where you are, and if you don't show up, they're probably going to send a search party, right? If you went off into the wilderness and you didn't tell anyone where you're going, that is an epic fail. So you always want to let people know where you're going, and especially when you're going to be back, because then if you don't show up, they can call someone and they can come looking for you. Okay, so maybe he's going to go after this creature. That creature looks like it might be aggressive. Looks like he made himself some kind of a bed there. Boom, chicka bow wow. He's like, wake up, lady. I built us a bed. That's actually a great thing to get off the ground in any situation. Also, he's close to a water source there. That's a good thing, but you do want to make sure with shelters, it's location, location, location. Don't want to build it too close to water, because what if the tide comes up? What if it's a river and suddenly there's a flash flood? Sounds like a really bad way to wake up. Drowning. This is nice. That looks cozy, warm. Just keeps adding to it. It's like, oh, I like myself a California king-size bed. Maybe he's building himself a foundation for a house there, getting it off the ground. Oh yeah, because he's got doors. Simple wall mount. Okay, he's going out, gonna build himself maybe some walls. I'm not sure if that's a palm or bamboo. Bamboo actually is really cool because the ridges of it collect water. So that's a cool way to get some morning dew, to get some rainwater. Oh, he is building himself a very nice place. Very fancy. Look at that. So it looks like he's using maybe bamboo, palm fronds, tying it together, lashing it all. He is fancy. This guy's done this before. You don't just go out into a survival situation for the first time and build yourself a house like this. This ain't your first rodeo, is it, buddy? Keeps going back to his fire. Keeps letting his fire die. Our friend here is building himself a house with a view, which is actually really nice because, you know, realistically, again, in a survival situation, you want to have a positive mental attitude. Some of the best survival stories talk about how someone thought they were near death, but managed to notice how beautiful the stars looked or how gorgeous the sunrise or the sunset was. And that actually carries you a lot further than you would think. So having this lovely view of that mountain, I think it's really gonna help him out. Got his water source there. It looks like there's a tortoise on the other side. Tortoises and turtles are actually really good food in survival situations, and then you can use their shell for a lot of things, to collect water, to cook in, you can drink their blood if you're into that sort of thing, and you will be in a survival situation. And he's got his door frames, he's got his foundation down, really impressed with his latch work there. Actually, it looks like rope. If you have rope, that's a score. It's like slingshot in there. Slingshot is a good way to take down small game. I mean, ideally, you've got all that water there, so there's probably some fish. It's a foreign planet. I have no idea what kind of fish you have, but fish are a good source of protein, easy to get, a lot easier than running down game. Now that he's done with his house, he can rest. Oh, he's been there for a while. Look at that. It's more than a 5 o'clock shadow. He's got a full beard. He's all about this house. He's like, I don't care about food. I don't care about water. I don't care about fire. I just want my house. This woman to wake up and see what I built. Reptiles, the other white meat. Reptiles are mostly all edible. Their eggs are edible. Even snakes are edible. Even poisonous snakes are edible. You want to cut off their head and a couple inches back because their venom sacs are close to their head. You want to skin them. You want to gut them. Snakes are really mild in flavor. If you ate it cooked and you didn't know what it was, you honestly probably wouldn't be like, whoa, what is that? You would just go, oh, well, that's interesting tasting chicken. Well, Ark Survival Evolved was a lot of fun. That dude was pretty badass, I would say. Really took building a shelter to the extreme, even made a friend, found a dodo. It was pretty awesome. So guys, gals, thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to check out more Gamology videos, go to Facebook and YouTube. We'll see you there. You guys do what you do and I'll just talk.
Oh yeah. That is the common story. Yeah.
Okay. You guys are like, oh, we kind of need that. All right, I'll back it up.
Definitely haven't heard this one before.
It's actually true.